Yeah, you there was a part of you in Amsterdam that was really
A changed man.
a
You know.
changed man.
I
What?
feel like the eases are gone. I don't know if like do you feel like you're being watched here or because
Yeah.
over there you seem so laid back. Bro.
Being watched, no. It's just we're in a different location. I find also Amsterdam was very humbling, in a way, and I say that because I think because of the distractions I have here. So like,
Facts.
there's a lot of distractions here. Like especially like just home distractions, things I do in my regular day that would kind of put me in a routine. When I was in Amsterdam, that was not there.
Yeah.
Like all these things are like maybe bad habits or things that took away from like maybe me realizing like the world around me wasn't necessarily there. So yeah,
What gave you so much peace though in Amsterdam?
the architecture,
The architecture.
the architecture, bro. It was actually pretty beautiful there. Like
No, but yo, you celebrated your birthday in Amsterdam.
Oh yep. That
And
was
what
amazing.
was that like?
Honestly, it was good. It was like different scenery for sure. Cause like I did celebrate it coming back to London. The difference is everything kind of feels I don't know. You know, like you go somewhere new and it's like the you're almost in like a haze. Like wow, this is you're looking at the buildings, you're looking at the people, you're looking at the vibes, the what the city has to offer,
Yeah.
and it's like that on top of the day. Because I guess like at this point we're 28 now. You know we've been having some birthdays since like 15, 16 where we're
Well,
going
you're
out.
28. I'm still 27.
Like yeah, we're going out. Like we're going out. So we've been
Yeah.
going out for like at least 10 years. And a decade of us like, and when we go out, it's not like we're just going out to have casuals. We're going out.
Yeah.
So that can get repetitive if you're in the same location, the same people. But surprisingly, this was a different location, and it was like I said, the vibes were different. There was more to it. It's like almost adds that play to it because you're exploring.
So did you feel like it was your birthday? Like, did it feel like a regular birthday?
Yeah, I think it might have been you or you. I was telling the airport like that was technically my longest birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Ever
remember
because
you
like
saying that.
we flew back the same day, so I got an extra 6 hours on my
Yeah.
birthday. So I had like a 30-hour birthday, which is cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I
That's weird. The whole concept of flying over time zones and stuff.
It's almost I kind of hate it though, cause like you guys seen it. We had like that jet lag experience where you're like, you think you sleep, you can only sleep 5 hours because your like internal clock wakes you up, which I
Yeah.
thought was like kind of fucked up, cause like we'd go to bed at 4 a.m, which is like, I don't know, maybe 10 over here. So then you're like, okay, that's a good time, but then you wake up literally 4 hours later to get ready for that wedding or something. So
Yeah. It was hazy in that aspect for sure.
I felt like it was the flow of time. Like it kind of just felt legit. Every second felt like you just have to be present, and you gotta have to forget about time,
Yeah.
which is nice in a sense because like you're not really rushing. Like oh, I gotta go here, I gotta do this. Not like what I have to do right now, do it. And that's that's all. Like at least that was me there. I was kind of just wedding, go out, and even when we went out too, it was like you're not worried about. I rarely looked at my clock. Rarely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And what was like all of us first time in Europe, right?
yeah, I've never
Yeah.
been.
What was it at, like what you thought it was?
Better, to be honest with you. Like I like when I say better aspect wise is like I haven't seen the other places, which are probably going to be better than what I thought Amsterdam, but I thought it was better. It was just like it lived up to that mystique, or at least like when you're there it's like, oh, I'm in Europe. Like you could tell you're in Europe. It's like being in Canada, that has its own like kind of feel, vibe. Being in the US, kind of same thing.
Mhm.
Being in Europe, it has its own vibe. So like
Yeah.
if I kind of look at it in that aspect, yeah, I lived up to it and more.
Yeah. Was it what you expected?
Yeah, I think it was for me it was cool too, like just seeing the history side of it too, like knowing that like there was actually wars and like people going through wars in the same spot, walking in the same places we walked, kind of throws your mind in a whole loop. Like, well, this is crazy.
Yeah.
What about
Facts.
you? Kind of same thing, or
Honestly, same thing. Like to me, it was more like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like just a shock, and like the bikes, the amount of bikes, the old architecture. You didn't really see any homeless people. You know what I mean? Maybe it was the area that we were in, but it was just like that was. And what D'Sean said, as soon as we landed there, D'Sean on the plane, he goes, oh, something feels like mucky in the air right now. It just feels like there was history here. You know what I mean? Because bro, that's where the World War II they
Yeah.
stomped through there, right?
Well,
The Nazis.
quickly.
I remember when we were walking through, like, I guess more of the historic part of the city, like when we went to the center. I remember we were just on these cobblestone rocks, and like D'Sean's like, yo, imagine just like looking down and then like these are the same stones that like the Nazis were marching on and like making, like, you know what I mean? And the
Facts.
people, and like, and you see the homes, they're all like homes from like, remember, what was the oldest home? I think it was like 1850 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Literally plastered right there. So like you have to take yourself, like, we're like 170 years past that date, and like how much has happened there, how much war, like how many people have like seen those things. So I thought that was
Yo, why do you like history so much? Because I've known you for forever, obviously, and like I remember Miss Melanson back in
Oh, yeah.
this guy got a 98 or some shit in like a history fucking exam or test, and like she was like, oh, the only person in the class who got a 98, and it was this guy. And I'm like, out of history, like why do you like it so much?
Honestly, for me, it's the kind of just to see what's taking place and like what people were doing at the time to like lead up to that. Because I find everything's very similar in a sense. It kind of gives me an edge on like what I'm like, where my mind takes me in the future too. Because it kind of like it repeats itself, but it rhymes. It's not the same exact thing, but it rhymes. So like, and always growing up too, like my dad always had that kind of stuff on the TV. So I was kind of interested in just in the fact of like that stuff can like stop. Like we seen it this year, like with the COVID, the whole world stopped. That was happening in repetitive times, just for like wars, that kind of stuff. Where I'm like, wow, like this is kind of crazy in a sense of like anything that's going on, even in society, everything. It's almost like that's a true reset. Like if anything's going on, whether it be socially, any social problems in the society, people, economies, it resets it all. So I find it interesting how that is so encompassing, almost in a sense. Like even now we have like like we have America, which is like one of the biggest things. There's like all the sports teams, how big of a nation it is, and even its grip hold on the economy. It still doesn't have that same effect as a war going on across the world. It started off as two countries just starting off, but that changes the whole thing just like that, which to me is crazy. Like that's the biggest thing I would say is like the effect and the reach it has.
So do you think things have to reset?
I don't know if it has to reset. Like I said, I feel like it's almost like time's flowing in a sense, more of like a river, and like in our lives, we might be experiencing a similar part of the river that's past. If
That's
that makes sense.
crazy.
If that makes sense.
So it's
No,
crazy,
it does.
It's crazy you bring that up because like I was listening to, I think it was like 3 podcasts recently that kind of touched on this topic, and it was like essentially the world resets itself, right? Like our biggest issue is like we try to look at ourselves like we're humans. We live like what 80 to 100 years max, right? That is such a little imprint on like the whole life of the world, or like or how long the earth has been, right? Like for example, I forget what this like the Younger Dryas impact, which is essentially what they said was what reset us last time. I think it's like on a I don't
Is that
want
when the continents?
no, so
No?
this is like these giant meteors that they said that they were planet killers, where they just hit and there was just so much debris, so much impact that it literally just shattered everything around, and like so there's nothing, like the world essentially resets from there.
It's
right?
crazy because like when you say the world actually just resets on its own, like, and then we think we know what's gonna happen, like climate change is happening. I'm not saying it's fake. I'm not saying it's real. I'm not here to talk about that bullshit. Stop Greta though. Greta needs to stop.
How dare you?
How dare you, yo? He needs to stop. Yo,
It's crazy though, but like
but you know what I mean though. It's like it's kind of weird when you think about it like that. It's like, what if we're experiencing a reset of the world, but that's like meant to be, you know what I mean? And we're trying to politicize that.
well, so they say it's like if you knew the world was gonna like be hit by a meteor tomorrow, okay, are you really worried about like all these little things like global warming, this and this and this and that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because like even too, for all we know, this like as we were saying, it's like this clock that resets. We might be at the beginning of the clock for all we know, right? Or we could be really right at the end. We could be right at the middle. So it's kind of looking like, do you want to really live your life by worrying about what's gonna happen, or do you just kind of live present day and just kind of live day by day, right? Like a lot of people will argue this. It's like, no, you have to look for the future, your family, da 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 da. But like, if you want to be that selfish person, and sometimes you really have to be, like, do you just live in your own world and try to make it the best of that and make it the best of everyone around you?
Yeah. I think, like, it's crazy because, like, even when I, like, going back to the history stuff, too, like, and to that top point, a lot of the stuff that happens, like, whether it be wars, the stuff going on now with COVID, those resets, I find are more shifts of consciousness. Like that World War II, Nazis kind of brought in that, like, what is it, like, the colonial, like, we're going to have a leader, everyone's going to follow, we're going to work on industries, build infrastructure, kind of what we were doing before this COVID stuff, and then everything switched, and that was more of like ideologies battling each other more than the war. Like the war is more of the byproduct. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing now. Like the whole, all these movements going on right now. Like I can't even get into all of them.
The alphabet.
Yeah, the alphabet, all that other stuff. Like what else is there? There's the COVID, the science, the misinformation, and then it's all like a shift on consciousness. I don't know if you guys too. Even on my social medias, there's a lot of like
For sure.
religious stuff coming up too. Like whether it be Islam, Judaism, Christianity, it's all being pushed in a sense of like everything that's going on now is a byproduct of something, and it's leading back to those
Old values.
ideologies.
Yeah, well, I mean, it has to like I get what you're saying, because it definitely felt like we've been moving this way. So like you said, if you touch too much this way, naturally you're gonna get that rejection. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Do you think it's being pushed more? We're seeing it more, or is it just what the topic is now? Because
I think it's more of, especially lately, like I've been lately more on the like opposing forces, good and evil, that kind of stuff, like, right and wrong, hot and cold. So I'm thinking whatever you're seeing more prevalent now, it's almost like if I'm gonna fight, like those are swings, like I pushing this way, pushing that way. Whatever you're getting pushed to us, I find is more, whatever you're getting pushed is more like, I hate to say this, but untrue in a sense, where the stuff that's really true kind of stands the test of time. It's not really heavily pushed in a sense, where like all the stuff on social media is being pushed is because if they didn't push it, would it still be going on to the extent it's going on today, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's weird, because like when you'll look at social media and you'll think like everything's one way, but then when you actually remove yourself in the real world, like, man, you feel like everyone kind of, and maybe it's biased based on like where you're from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone from the same city is gonna think the same, you know? But I feel like even when I travel, I don't meet radicals. Like, is that just on social media?
So that's the big part, right? It's like going back to what the question was, like, do you think they're pushing it more, or do we just see it more? It's like if you go, like, I think the argument was, it's like the people who argue in comments are usually the people who are like the most extreme, right? Like those people, like the majority don't, right? Like think of it. If you look at your whole like friends list, how many of those people do you actually see in those comments going off? Not really many. You might find like maybe 5%, and those are like maybe the strong opinionated friends.
Yeah.
But then you have 95% of people aren't doing it. So it's like,
bro, the mob attacked us, eh?
That was funny.
So we had a reel from Sergio's episode.
Yeah.
And then the comments were just coming in hot. Like the reel was about like a conspiracy theory, like about electric vehicles.
See, you know what cheesed me? It was
And
like
then go ahead.
I know. I was just saying what cheesed me was just we were just bringing up a concept and like just talk. Like the whole idea was to talk of what conspiracy theories have we heard about and what do you think about them. That's what it was.
And bro,
then,
like 5 or 6, 7 comments. That's not true. You guys are dumb. A bunch of idiots talking. You know what I mean? But we finally experienced the mob. You know what I mean? Like that woke crowd. Bro.
Even to some of the comments, uneducated, bro. Both of us have gone to school. We're both educated. Like what? Like what? Just because?
But that's why the internet rattles. That's
right? But like, it's just. It was. I don't even know why I'm getting like flustered by it. I think I'm not even flustered. I think it was just a wake up call in a way where it's like you're not gonna please everybody. Not everybody's even gonna understand the conversation. They're just gonna see that short. They're gonna be like, oh, these guys are idiots because they're just formulating an idea that I don't agree with, or they're formulating an idea that other people could speak about, formulate it and understand that it's not true. Cool, like that's a discussion. We're supposed to talk.
Relax, Papa. Yo, the comments hurt him, eh?
Nah.
Yo, you might just stop reading the comments.
I don't read the comments. That's the thing. Like I literally, I do the Rogan. I just post and ghost. I don't read comments. I don't care. Until you told me, yo, we're being attacked. I seen it pop up, but I'm like, I'm not looking at this.
Yeah, no, that's jokes. But yo, let's switch the topic here. I want to get kind of deep into D over here, yo. I've known this guy forever. You've known him forever too.
Yes.
Yeah, fam. I guess I kind of want to ask you, like, I feel like being your brother, you've experienced some of the highest highs in regards to like accomplishments and like successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then like obviously like with injury and stuff, I felt like that got punched.
Yeah.
And so take us through that and take us to where you are now, kind of.
The injuries first, the injuries are a big thing just because it almost shatters like a lot of stuff that's going on. Like you know how life is. Life is already hard enough, and then you're trying to juggle so many things. And that was more like once you drop the first ball, kind of like a lot of stuff starts tumbling downhill. Yeah. Especially mentally, especially when like up until that point, I've been injured a couple times, but never to the point where it's like I truly needed. I was already full in on something, and then I got injured.
So before I cut you off, you want to explain to people like where you were in your career at that point?
Okay, yeah. So
like
I was
leading shit.
I was third year, University of Carleton Ravens, 21, I believe. I just came off the season with. I was tied for first in the whole country for interceptions, and I got second team OUA All-Star. And I got invited to the CFL draft at that point, or the combine. So like if you go to the combine, you're most likely gonna at least get pushed into the draft or get talked to after, get picked up, something like that. But I got injured, so I had to like sit out that whole combine experience, the whole going to meet the scouts, going to talk to all the coaches, and on top of that, like when I got back, it took me a while to get back into like I was honestly at that point that was the best physical time of my life because like I was at university, yes, but like everything kind of revolved around doing something active. So I'd wake up, 7 a.m. runs. After 7 a.m. runs, I'm going to the gym. After the gym, there'd be like an hour and a bit. I would just stretch, ice bath, do all that. Then I'd go to the open gym, like which is like rec basketball, play for like 5 hours, and then I was working in the locker room with the team. So I'd be cleaning laundry, but like you can put the laundry in, go upstairs, work out, just flip it over. So I was doing like honestly, I was probably doing like 8+ hours of just physical activity. So I was like top shape of my life. I was playing the whole game. Like at that point, I don't know. You know how football is, and you too. I was playing like the only time I came off was offense.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because like I couldn't play offense. It was just, like university is a little different. You have so much plays, stuff like that.
You can't go both ways.
Yeah. So like I was on every single special teams. I was starting defense. So I was pretty much on the field the whole time. And for the first time in my life, I was never tired, which was great. I wasn't tired. I was just happy running around, having a good time. But it wasn't until the injury I really took in the moment I was in. Because when stuff goes fast, it just starts going fast. I was telling this guy, sometimes it feels like you're running and your body's going through it and your mind's like still doesn't process what's going on. So I'm after I got injured, I sat down. I'm like, okay, like what's really going on? Like aside from football and working out and stuff like that, I wasn't really big on the books, which sucks. But I do recommend anyone listening stay in school, get that stuff done. Like prioritize it enough to get what you need to do within the time frame. Just get it over with because it's not worth the stretch out. But after that, I'm like, you know what? It took me a couple months. I'd say like 5 months, and I'm like, you know, I can't let this beat me. I gotta do this again. So I did it like I would say it was 2 years, probably rehabbing, like because I broke the collarbone pretty bad. If anyone doesn't know, I fell off a bike in Cuba.
Fuck.
And I shattered. Like my collarbone was toast. Like toast my whole arm. Like the whole thing was like just burnt off. Like I had good shoulders at the time too, and the road rash took it. Like the whole back of my shoulder was gone. Like just the meat of the shoulder was gone, which was crazy. And then so I'm like, okay, so I rehabbed for 2 years. Finally got to the point where I was back in football, starting. Honestly, this time I was probably better because I had that one little time off. I sat out. I thought about it. I sat on it. I let everything seep in. I'm like, okay, this is it. Like I'm coming back. I'm doing this. And within the first game, I played the first game. We played Laval, I believe, and like they're already winning championships. Like they're one of the best U sports team.
Overall, right?
Yeah, and like the starters played the first half, and honestly we did good. And that game was great because I was covering. Who was I covering? I think it was like some guy named LeClaire, and he was crazy. Like he was like he ended up getting drafted like Tampa Bay. I believe. So he's good. He was good. And even the guys I was around are crazy. Like I was with Tunde at Aleki, which he's crazy. Yeah. It's hard to go wrong. Like I like a corner position, you know. So like, I was clicking. I felt like I was better than I was before. Plus, I had the mental capacity to
take it all in.
Yeah, at least in the football aspect. But then I played the first game. What was it? I played a quarter done because the preseason game they'll let everyone play. So it's kind of like everyone gets their chance. Then we fast forward to the first game of the season, the first quarter. So that was going great actually. I had like 3 pass breakups, like a couple tackles. But then at the end of the first, I fell. Like I was gonna get an interception, and I landed wrong on my collarbone. And like when I fell, I just heard a crack, like a tree branch thing.
Mm-hmm. Same one that you injured,
like,
right?
Yeah, like there was no pain at the moment. It was more the sound, and I already knew because I remember the sound from when I broke before. And the feeling too, so I'm like, oh shit, like I broke this shit again, like so like right away, first real season game back, I re-broke it, threw Mans into a whole another spiral because at that point
I was fucked, bro. I remember watching it on the computer and Thelwell, I thought it was an interception.
Yeah,
Thelwell's down. I'm like, no, don't fucking. I'm like, don't say this shit.
My feet were kicking and everything. Yeah.
Jeez, bro.
Yeah, yo, so that like at that point, through my like mentally I was cheesed because like that was again I sat out the draft and stuff like that, and it was like. This is my year to kind of step out and be like that starting. I don't have to worry about no second string, third string, none of that. So then threw me again. So again, I'm going through another arm break. That was probably worse because at this time, you start to see your friends get drafted. You start to see people doing stuff, going to the combine. Not even like from a jealousy standpoint, but just because like that's something you kind of, from a kid, you kind of always like, yeah, like,
Of course.
I want to do that. You know, I want to do that. But again, it threw me in another spot again where I'm like, what am I? At that point, I don't think I had identity outside of football, which kind of is weird to sound, but like,
No,
it
it's
was
not though, because like, it consumed you from how old? When did you start football?
like 4 or 5.
So
Yeah.
it's like, bro, it's
That's
all
all you knew.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And like, you know, grew up going to my uncle's games, stuff like that.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
a good thing. It was part of the family. My dad played football all high school. He was coaching all the stuff, so it was big. And then after that, thankfully, I was able to go back again. Like I did the whole rehab again. I would say that was a dark period, but let's like skip over the dark period because
Yeah.
How long was the second recovery? Was it another 2-year period like the first, or?
it might have been. I think it was a little longer because I ended up once that went downhill. My school went downhill. My like relationship with the coaches, like I wasn't even trying to be there at that point. I was just like still angry. Like, you know, when you're younger too, you're kind of angry. Like, why is this happening to me?
Well, bro, it's like the same thing as if someone who aims to be a doctor is going to, let's say, Queens and then fucking gets kicked out second year. You can't be a
Facts.
doctor
Yeah.
anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's the same frustration.
Facts.
It's like that's what you're aiming for. You know what I
And
mean? So I can't imagine.
Especially like, you know how like going to university is not it's not cheap. It's not cheap. And at that
No.
point, I was already so focused on that where I'm still dealing with the same things like rent, like food, the school fees, living day to day,
Yeah.
trying to keep up with like just life and things that you want throughout life. You want cars.
What was your biggest lesson just one lesson during those periods? Because like that sounds like fucking hell, bro. Like,
Oh,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Back to back injuries on what you want to do.
Facts. I would say, and I honestly, I still say this to myself today because like even like right now, I would say that despite everything that's taken place and transpired through my life, I'm still right here right now, talking to you guys. If something was really that bad, I wouldn't be here to
Fair.
keep going. You know what I mean? That in itself was a sign to just like keep going, and whatever comes your way, you can overcome it. Because like if that's like, not to say it's the worst, because I know there's a lot of people who have gone through worse, but like it was a hard time. Definitely, like there's, you know what I mean? Like it was not as no one would want to put themselves in that position, and I kept willingly put myself in that position for a chance of something that could have been, which that was probably the heaviest part of it. It was because it was optional. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't want to have a situation where, oh, there's no lights for a bit, or you can't eat today, or you
Yeah,
can't,
yeah.
you don't have money in the account. A lot of people would be like, forget that. Why would I ever put myself in that position? But to me, I just said, you know what, I'm gonna take a chance. Worst case, I'm here. Worst case, I'm already dealing with it. Best case, I can play football, have a good career, and kind of branch off into other stuff like that. You know?
Okay. So now it's been a couple years, right? After post like football, like a few years.
My last year was the year COVID, 2019.
2019
When
before
COVID
COVID.
started,
Okay,
yeah.
so where are you now, fam?
Where am I now? Okay, since the COVID stuff happened, honestly, even after that, I took another, what am I outside of football? So I've been exploring a lot of avenues, let's say, whether it be like work-wise, life-wise, what do I want to do and what kind of makes me happy. For the first time, I would say, honestly, I haven't done anything that's not made me happy, which is weird.
That's
Like,
good, bro.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to put myself in a position where I'm unhappy, where it's detrimental to like what I'm doing. Like, I put the outcome aside and more focus on the process. Like, what am I doing every day? And if I do those things every day, it'll add up to something better. Like, kind of like, you ever heard that, like, when they say the expression, like, if you put a brick a day and you look back and you have like a whole house built.
Facts.
You know what I mean? I'm kind of doing it like that method right now, trying things out, exploring avenues like starting businesses. Like the Capital City Crow is a great example with you
Yeah.
guys. That was amazing. That was a good eye opener. I've taken a turn too. I did some Uber business on the side where I'm kind of doing that, using the Uber to kind of fund other things.
Yeah.
Which that I would say is the big, that's been crazy just because like my whole life also being on sports teams, being with the guys and stuff like that. That's the first real thing I've done on my own, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's all on me. Like I don't have to, there's no like, well, you know how sports are. You can look for someone if you're hurting, you're down.
Yeah.
They can cover you. People can cover you. Where this one, there's no covering. But I love the aspect of it. It's like you wake up, if you don't go anywhere, no one's going to call you. If you don't, if you're not miss, there's nothing to miss. There's nothing to do. But at the same time, if there's no money in the account, if you're not working, there's no one to blame but you as well.
Yeah, you're kind of the person like who kind of sparked like entrepreneurship in me, because you've always been so optimistic, so like go do this, go do this, and like it's like how you'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Like so where does that business kind of come from, or like that?
I would say honestly, just like growing up, I was lucky in the fact my parents kind of never. It's good and bad depending on how you look at it. They never really told me no, so like it was kind of like they would kind of just say figure it out. Then go ask someone, go talk to someone, like figure it out. Just who cares? Like there's no need to say no. Worst case, like if they say no, they say no, which has been great today too. Like honestly, like I've learned to just roll with the punches, keep going. Like I said, just keep taking step by step, and if you do the right steps, everything will kind of play out. So like that would be the biggest one I would say, and just having people around me. Like I don't think there's anyone around me that doesn't have their own thing that they bring to the table. You know what I mean? Like you by yourself, you could do your own thing. Like you have the real estate stuff going on right now, and you have the wedding stuff going on, which is like that in itself for a lot of people is up there. And you not counting this, not counting the next business you're gonna start. You as well. I know you started the Burbs with Brandon. You were doing a lot of stuff where it's on your own, and then when it comes together with people, it's like I can look to you, anyone I'm around, and I could kind of get inspired, which that was been like I would say the biggest benefit also of going to Carleton. And the people I met, like they weren't all top, like they weren't making millions of dollars at that point or anything like that, but I can definitely see a different type of wealth. Like some of those guys are the most fittest guys I've seen in my life. Some of those guys have the freest time of their life. They're the happiest people. Like some things, like didn't place high on money value, but I placed value on almost like a balance of life. Like you know how like you have those charts, like you know what I mean? That's what I was looking for. Like, okay, this guy over here, he's 10 out of 10 happy. What makes him that? Maybe he doesn't have money, but he has a great circle of friends around him. Okay, this guy has money, but he's missing out on this a little bit. And I'm thinking of how to get that full circle full, like 10 10 10 all the way around.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
when you're getting the attributes, when you're making your character.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny you bring that up too, because like I was literally reading, it's like don't surround yourself around anybody who's broke. And then the next line was like a reiteration. It's like when I say broke, it's not financially. It's about like people who are mentally broken physically.
Exactly.
Like people who are kind of like willing to break themselves down and also break you down as a byproduct of it, because like as it is, if you're being toxic, it is a toxic trait that you can pass on, right?
Yeah, facts. And I was gonna say one thing I did want to talk about is, I know you're also another person who introduced me to animals in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this guy always, I think he's the first one of our friends who had a big dog. Or was it Chief? Chief or Romeo came first? Who came first?
Romeo was a little first, because Chief came like a year later maybe. Cause like we have pictures, I remember Kodak and Romeo. We have pictures of Romeo and Chief together, but like Chief, it wasn't that big at the time.
Yeah.
I guess like how important is like a dog to you?
Oh, it's super important to me, at least just in the aspect of just when you're like that, having the dog kind of eliminated that alone time, which I know it's good at the same time, but a dog's like they're not talking to you. Of course, we talk to the dogs, of course, every once in a while, but even I feel like they taught me, even in my alone time, there's something to learn too. You know what I mean? So like even when I'm by myself with my dog, I'm still kind of learning something. I don't know. I kind of like look around me for inspiration everywhere. So like when I see dogs, I'm thinking like, damn, like those dogs can't speak. They can't really say, I want this. But yet they have everything they want. If they're happy, like my dogs are happy, they're good, well fed, they're out exercising. Not a lot of people can have that ability to attract what they need in life, and that dog has something that's able to attract what it wants in life. And I found it's just because they live in the moment. They're full of love, and I feel like that's the highest like vibrational kind of frequency you can be in. If you love what you're doing, good things will come. That's what I learned, at least from the dogs. Like I love having them, and again, like they keep you outside, they keep you active. They kind of
There's nothing better than fucking opening the door and the dog just coming in with wagging the tail, bro, as if they just saw their like everything.
Facts.
Like, fuck, it's crazy,
when they cry too, it's just like it's so weird, because they'll be like, and you're like, yo,
wait, how did they do it?
I'm not doing that again. But it's funny. It's like I don't like because like well, I'm on my second dog at this point, right? Like I've only like my first dog we had was like my aunt's dog, and you like it's like that's kind of it's like almost like having a kid in a way when it's like they bring the kids over, they're fun to play with, but then they go home, and you're like sick. Okay, I don't have to deal with it anymore. But when it's your dog, it's like that full spectrum of it.
Yeah.
And what I found is like it teaches you to be really, you can't be selfish all the time. You have to literally kind of be selfless because like, as you said, they can't communicate. So you have to be able to give them what they want. Yeah. But then you get the ultimate goal or reward, which is that love.
But it also teaches you a lesson, like you said, in the sense that because they can't communicate, you are proving who you are, because you guys are in a closed room and it's just you and a dog. Yeah. They're not gonna go tell someone, oh, this person did this and this to me. You know what I mean? Like in a sense of like, are you hitting your dog? Are you like not giving him attention? Are you like leaving him in a cage as you're gaming on the computer all day? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it really tests like who you are as a man or as a woman. Yep. You know what I mean? It really tests your morality. And then, because sometimes I'll be sitting there doing a lot of work, like just like generational real estate or green clean work. I'm just there writing. I see Simba just sitting there, not in a cage, but just sitting there just like this. And I'm like, yo, I've been sitting down for like 2 hours. Like, why not go out, walk this guy for 15 minutes? Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just like a test to yourself.
Yeah. Especially like, you guys probably have the same thing going on. Is like when you have so much going on, your head's in like almost in space a little bit. You're thinking about a lot. You're really trying to like reach. You're trying to reach for grab things to like better your life. They force you to kind of come back down, be present. What's going on right now? What do you need right now? You ever say that to your dog? Like, what's going on, man? What do you need right now? Come on, like why are you crying for? What's going on?
The crying always. Because I just hear from the cage. I'm like, yo, what may I help you with? Like, you got food, you got water. You got blankets, you got toys, like, what possibly? And at the end of time, it's attention.
And especially when, like, you know, you're working for, if you get into those zones where you're working for, like, 6 hours, and, like, they're doing that crying stuff, like, they're hungry. And then you realize, you know what, shoot, I even haven't eaten right now. Maybe I should eat too. Like, they bring you back to that present moment, like, okay, like, what's going on right now? Because I'm kind of off in the clouds thinking about stuff, trying to figure stuff out, making plans, trying to figure out what's next. And then, they, like I said, just bring you back to, they ground you a bit. That's the best thing I could say. They ground you like a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously we just talked about Chief and Kodak. Yeah. You know, and both aren't present. Yeah, whack. So it's kind of fucked up in kind of like an emotional talk, obviously, because like those are like your family members, you know. So D, because you're a guest, I guess like take us through that.
It was kind of crazy because like right when it happened, when he got injured, I knew the outcome, if that makes sense. Like I saw how he was reacting. Like I took him to the park, I let him out. It's like an encaged dog park, and it's wintertime, and I'm in Ottawa, so it's like I just came home from work. Like I was already working like 12 hours. I'm just like, okay, let me just go let this guy run around. I let him out, and at that point I had my other dog with me, Lyra, and she's like a fast, small pit bull husky, so she's just running around quick. He went chasing after her. She comes back quickly. I'm like, okay, whatever. He is taking. I don't see him for a bit. He comes back limping, and at the point where like he's already like almost 100 pounds. So like when he's limping, it's hard to, you can tell he's moving slow. And that leg, his other leg you can see the tension on it. And I'm like, damn, because like my first dog, I had to put him down because he same thing. He jumped off like a 6-foot deck onto ice and he slipped, tore his ACL. So I'm like, shit, I know how this dog's walking. I know it's his ACL's fucked up. My girl's like, no, like he's okay. Like we'll just let it be. Like she could tell something was wrong, but I don't think she like could tell the extent. Which the second I saw it, I knew. And I was, you know, the ones who try to be super optimistic. Nah, yeah, he's good. He's good. Like,
but you know, in your heart,
in my heart, I knew.
It's like that. I don't know. Could you relate it to like the collarbones? Like, you know, when you've seen it, you've heard it. It's like that same anxiety. It's like, no, not again.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, like, you have the same thing with your shoulder. You know, like sometimes it would just pop out. It wouldn't hurt. But mentally, you'd be like, "Come on, like fuck." Like, yeah,
100%. So it's like,
what is this craziness? Yeah, like why am I going through this right now? And like that's probably the biggest thing that was like, because after that, I kept him for like 3 months on the bad leg, but it was like he was okay until like the last month where I had to put him on meds every day. Like it was a lot. At that point, I was like, okay, oh no, I gotta shut this down just because he's too big, and it's worse because you could tell his spirit was good, but it was just like his body was failing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he's still happy. He's still doing the same, running around, jumping up on me. And plus I had the other 2 dogs. So like they're younger and they're more like, they're pretty athletic. So like he's trying to keep up with them. He's still trying to be that dominant dog in the house, whatever.
Yeah.
So he's fighting. I can tell he's fighting with them, but he's also in pain at the same time. So it's like,
Yeah.
at what point are you gonna pull the plug on that to let him like kind of just
Yeah.
you know?
And that was the most jolliest dog, bro.
Yo,
It's ridiculous. How did you make him so jolly? What's your trick, bro?
I would say, look, I let him go. I had to trust him with everyone. You probably had him once. You had him before.
yeah.
Sergio had him, and they also took him everywhere. Like he was just, I put him in like from a young puppy. I put him in every scenario. Like he was, when man didn't have lights on auto, he's there. When I didn't
Yeah.
have food, he was there. So like there's times like, I know it sounds bad to say whatever, but there's times we didn't eat. So
Yeah.
like that's why I was more attached to that dog, because it kind of was he was there in that struggle times. So like he was there, like he caught a lot of my tears. Like he was there.
Yeah,
I'm
of
just like,
course.
you know what I mean? I'm not crying around the football team. I'm not crying. Like I'll go by myself. And he was there. So it was kind of like he was that kind of support, which is like crazy to the same sense, because now I feel like I said earlier, the first time I kind of feel supported in myself, which is kind of weird in it,
Yeah.
like psychologically, because like the second he left, I kind of felt like, okay, like I'm good, like,
Yeah.
which is weird.
But yeah, cause like all your like emotion would be let off on him.
Yeah,
That, like,
exactly.
yeah, no, it's crazy. Cause I won't lie, same thing with Simba, bro. It's my
Yeah.
first like big dog. Like I used to have a dog like Cocolizo, little Shih Tzu. Loved the little man, but he was a little rata, you know,
Yeah.
like just like a little old man, you know. But no, Simba, bro, it's just a different connection.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. But now, look, how's Chief, bro? We never actually got into that, and that was, bro, that was fucked.
Before you say anything, it was crazy because when I was at the park is the first time I saw the post about Chief. So when I called Coca to see what's going on, I had to tell him what just happened, and I knew it. I remember I told you at that
that
point.
was mess, bro.
I'm like, yo, this
fuck.
is weird, bro.
Even too, like, for me, it was like, I don't even know. I couldn't believe it. That's the most messed up part, right? Because, like, for me, one, it was my brother calls me. So, one, if my brother's calling me, it's either he actually needs something or it's, like, something that needs to be brought to my attention. So, like, and I've mentioned it before, my brother has autism. So, he's very, like, he's in his own zone. He's, like, he's good. He's good. But when he called me, he's like, you need to come home. Chief doesn't want to come in. So, I'm like, what do you mean he doesn't want to come in? Maybe I'm thinking he's outside, like, he killed a rat or a mouse and he's having fun with it. Cool. He used to do this all the time. Then my brother's like, yo, no, like, look. So we go on FaceTime and you just see Chief outside in the backyard, just laid back in the sun and just, like, laying there. Would not move. My brother's whistling at him, calling him, trying to lure him in with treats, nothing. So then for me, I'm like, okay. So I look at my boss. I'm like, yo, I got to go home. Like, something's wrong with my dog. Like, look. I show my boss. He's like, oh, go. So I cut home. And every time you come home, if Chief is outside, he'll always come to the back gate.
Yeah.
I pull up, don't see him. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's inside. But I peeped through, like, one of the holes in the wooden fence, and I could see him still laying in the same spot. So I'm like, this kind of messed up. Like, I don't get this, whatever. So I go up to him. I'm like, yo, buddy, come on, get up. Just sitting there, like, basking in the sun. And, like, thinking back on it now, I think it was, like, the whole idea, like, lions like to die on their own, in their own space. It was kind of that moment where maybe he was, like, the backyard is, like, it was his home, his den, his territory. He was just sprawled out right in the center, and, like, that's where maybe he wanted to go. So then whatever, I end up getting him up. I'm like, we got to go to the vet. So I take him to the vet. They x-ray him, take blood pressure, whatever. They say he's good. So I'm thinking, like, okay, like, probably he's good. Like, this can't be anything crazy. I end up bringing him home, give him the meds, go back to work for 2 hours. By the time I came back, he's just, like, on the ground. There's blood on the floor because he had been puking it out or whatever. And, like, he's just, like, at this moment, this is where, like, I probably felt the most, like,
that anxiety, that, like,
not
something's
anxiety,
going
just
wrong.
helpless.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like, it's done.
just
Yeah.
helpless. Like, I just didn't know what to do. I
Yeah.
remember just dropped to my knees, and the first thing I said, I was like, no, Chief, like, you can't go. Like, right now is not the time. Like, I fucking need you. And, like, this is kind of where I was going through kind of a building block in my life. Like, this was in November, so it wasn't even that far ago, but it was also, like, where I was kind of, like, things were finally going on the up, but then, like, it didn't make sense when everything was going right for, like, probably the most catastrophic thing for me to happen. Because when I got Chief, it was specifically because I was really, really, really depressed, and, like, probably in a moment where I thought I would have taken my life, and I actually bought a dog to, like, counter that. And, like, so for those 9 years that he was around, like, this was, like, my support system.
Yeah.
When I was sad, when I was bad, like, that's
and then
where
the
I went.
second you feel like you're on the rise, he's gone.
He's gone.
Bro,
So, like,
that's
Yeah.
I didn't know to understand if it was, like, maybe him saying like you're finally good enough where you can
Don't
keep
say
going
that.
without me?
Yeah.
Or was this like just I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're never prepared for those
Yeah.
moments, right?
But when you think about it like that, though, it's like, man, why do you think dogs are here? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, seriously, though,
Yeah,
like, why do you
facts.
think God put dogs on this earth? And why are dogs, like, the ones that are so close to humans, you know? Like,
Facts.
it's like, man, it's really special.
Yeah,
You know what I
like,
mean?
it's crazy. Like, and for me, like, yeah, so like whatever spiraled out. I ended up calling Brandon. I'm like, Brandon, you like, I called a couple of the boys. I'm like, yo, someone needs to come with me. I'm like, I'm going crazy. Like, I just don't know what to do. I need someone to support me. Like, I'm crying. I'm like, so whatever. We ended up getting to the hospital. Like, he ended up going in shock, and then yeah, it was kind of wraps there. And like, for me, it was just, I don't know. I'm still not over it. Like,
Yeah.
I like sometimes I'll literally like, you know that Paul Walker song, like, I'll see you again.
Yeah.
I can't hear that song. I cannot hear it. Anytime I hear it, because like I kind of abuse myself with it, because like that, no, like straight up that day I remember I just kept listening over and over and over. So
No,
like,
but that day makes sense to grieve.
right, exactly. But like now that song is kind of attached to that
Mm.
grieving moment. Like, it's also beautiful in a way, because like when I hear that song I remember
Yeah.
him, but it's like I can't hear that song anymore because it kind of fucks me up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, that's crazy, bro. No, I wanted to like get that off your chest, especially because I know it's been that happened for a while,
Yeah.
and we were gonna
Yeah.
talk about it, but you just recently happened,
Facts.
and that's just, I don't know, that's fucked up to me, bro.
No one's ready for it, and like, but like, like going back to it, it's like I'm so happy for every moment, every person he's touched. Like, it was, I couldn't have asked for a better dog. So it is like,
Facts.
it is what it is, right? Like, it's fucked. It's I don't know.
And you don't realize till they're gone how much people they actually like touch. Cause like,
Jeez.
how much time with you once like you pass, how many people message you like, yo, what happened? What's going
Bare
on?
people.
And it's
Bare.
and you're kind of surprised in the sense like, there's a lot of people in the earth that don't even have that, and these dogs are just so loving that they're getting touched, which is blessed. You know, obviously they're blessed to be like, one, to have them as a dog, and then two, to have that kind of circle around them that like loves them so much that it would actually care to take the time of their day just to be like, is everything okay? How is he? What's going on? Kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It's funny. I was reading this one book called How to Make Friends and Influence People, and it literally, like, one of the chapters was basically like talking about the fact that like a dog is friends with everybody, because like basically what D'Sean said is like, the second you see them, like, it's love. How can I help you? Oh, I want to see you. Like, you're so excited.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But giving that like that sort of energy off is important, even in like networking events or like just being that person who's accessible. Let's say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Welcoming,
So that was interesting to relate to that.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's crazy, man. Like before I had Simba, I was just like a bird man, to be honest. Straight up, bro. I had like birds, fam.
Really?
Like cocktail, bro. Like budgie birds.
remember that,
Straight
actually,
up, bro.
yeah.
Like
They were
these
breeding
birds
them.
will be flying, bro, on my shoulder, on my finger. Bro, I remember one time I had a fucking budgie bird. Like my one budgie bird literally hatched bare eggs. Okay.
Yeah.
I had one baby, bro. I fucking tied a string to its foot and I brought it to my brother's soccer game. bro, I swear to you, bro. I swear to you. And the story gets better. We fucking get to the soccer game. I swear. Ask my mom. We get to the soccer game. Does this fucking not get out of the little string and fly through the soccer field, bro, and off? And I'm there like, I lost the bird. I'm fucking crying, you know. People are like paying attention to me. Like, they're like, yo, the poor kid lost the fucking bird. Fuck the game, you know what I mean? And then does this fucking not come back?
That's fucked.
Bro,
That's
I swear
crazy.
on my life, like 5-10 minutes later, I see the fucking bird coming back, and it didn't fly to me, but it flew like right beside me. I literally picked it up, tied that bitch, went in the car, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's crazy.
Are
literally,
you
bro.
still a Birdman now or not?
I don't know, cause like I remember like I used to always want a parrot.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I wanted like a parrot. I think having like a fucking the colorful ones
Yeah.
would be fucking dope.
Don't those things live to like
bro,
100?
some of them
Yeah.
live till like we had a boy named Amar. He had one that like I forget how old this thing lived to 70 years old. So like some birds will outlive us, which
Yeah.
is crazy. Like you could have them for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but then I don't know, like I don't know if it just grew out of me, but like I don't know, I just never really fuck
Yeah.
with birds after.
Brandon's
you know what I
a
mean?
coward to birds. Brandon doesn't
Doesn't
trust them.
like
yeah.
birds?
No,
You
man.
why don't you trust birds, Brendan?
You
He
can't
said you
trust
can't
it.
trust the bird.
He's like
That's-
because they're too much. They're too much like dinosaurs. He
Yeah.
says so.
Bro, I know a girl. Shout out Alessia. Actually, she's gonna be in the wedding party.
Mhm.
She has a little bird, bro, and she like would feed it with the mouth and stuff. Like she
Oh,
loves
no.
that little bird. But I'm saying the trust is like more than 100%.
Yeah,
The trust
yeah.
is more than 100%. That's what I'm trying to say. And that bird never betrayed her.
That's funny.
I think only
Never.
other than that, it was only dogs and fish. The fish tanks are just nice because
Bro, you used to be obsessed with fish, bro.
Because, the fish.
You used to be obsessed with fish.
Because you could just, it's more like, you just see the fish tank. You see the sound of the water when you're falling asleep.
Bro, remember we fucking opened a bank account for a fish business?
Sell fish. Yeah,
Explain that.
So I remember, like, man, and don't get it twisted. Some of these fish, you can get, like, a good amount. Like,
Oh yeah.
like, like $10 plus per fish, and they have
Way more.
bear babies. Like, they have bear, and all you gotta do is set up a tank right, put the 2 in there, and they'll do it naturally. But, like, I remember one day I'm like, you know what, like, at this point we were kind of doing a bunch of shit. Like, we were like, I remember we were doing the door to door. What is the chocolates? Door to door selling chocolates. Man's would do some driveway shovelings, stupid things like that. And I already had the fish tank set up. I'm like, you know what? Let's just try to sell like some fish. Like what? I'm already going every day to the fish store to try to get some fish stuff. Like, why am I going to these people to buy fish when I could just have them breed and just sell them back to them? Long story short, I think we did it for like not even like a month, maybe a month and a bit, and we kind of just said, oh fuck it, like
yeah. Because I remember we went to buy bear plants, this and that. The eggs would float to the top. You had to put the mother in a separate fucking thing in the tank. Bro, it was a whole process. And I remember like then our bank account was like charging us monthly, bro, and we were making no money off the fish. so we had to close that.
So
shit,
when it went negative, we just said, okay, pause, put a pause on this, close it down, shut it down.
That's fucking funny, bro.
That's funny.
I think it was what, grade like 7, 6.
Literally.
Yeah, it was
bro.
good.
There's some funny throwback stories, especially between all of us, bro.
Yeah, but most of them can't be told on camera.
Yeah, no, this is true. The high school days, bro.
Yeah.
The Bucky days.
Those are some funny days, bro.
There's no NüVida after hours.
I mean,
Eventually.
my point is like,
Patreon,
bro, I don't even think kids like can do the things that we were doing, bro.
Facts.
Well, you gotta
like
remember,
they can't, bro.
there wasn't as many phones. Like at least our first year. Like, you know what I mean? Like think of grade 9, right? Some people had phones.
The internet
now
wasn't big.
Everybody has phones.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that, and even too, it's like I can even think back. It wasn't that common that like, you know, something was happening and everyone would be recording it. Most people would actually be watching it.
Yeah.
Now,
Facts.
anything you do, a phone is coming out and it's being recorded.
Because that's like, I remember like that's when like things started happening. Like you were the first one I knew whoever had Instagram, and I was like, yo, what the fuck is that, bro? It looks so stupid, bro. And you're like, oh, you put pictures of yourself, and I was like, yo, you like, what?
I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't until I would say, Viv remembers because especially with football stuff, they're very strict on like what you're posting. At least at the time we were, because it was like a private team. People are actually like, it's investors who pay for like the team. It's not like through the school, so they're really strict on that. It wasn't until after I got hurt the first time, so we were in would have been second year university, 2017, maybe 2017, where like even Instagram got really big. Like before that, it wasn't really. It was more like personal, this and that. It wasn't like it wasn't really monetized yet, I don't think, or at least like notably monetized, where people were like, you know what, let's do this in a tentful way to make money. You know?
But even like the last day of high school, bro, I remember like it would be rowdy. Like it used to get rowdy, bro. Like disgusting, bro. Like people would fill fucking guns with like piss, like you know those spray guns.
Facts.
It was grade 9 for us, right?
And and those food fights, like crazy ones.
We flipped the table, like it was so crazy. I think it was grade 9. I think that was the first. That was the year it went to war. Like I remember people were pulling up with, as you said, those piss guns.
Yeah.
People had filled up like. I don't know. People had like been filling like other stuff with like rotten like stuff and left it for weeks, and like it was crazy. I remember like the whole school got laced.
I literally remember like being part of a fucking war movie.
Oh yeah.
Like the way I was navigating, I was like, yo, they're over there, and I was obviously participating too. So like you're trying to hit people and shit. It was crazy.
But that school could have been on a TV show, and it would have been
RMC.
It would have been a great team. Like there was craziness going on in that school the whole time. There's a lot of funny characters, like not say characters, but you know what I mean. Like there's a lot of funny people in themselves that are like you see some stuff like, what is it, like those Seinfeld shows? Those aren't funny. If you were to see RMC and what was really going on, that stuff was hilarious, hilarious. Like to the point where like, you know me, I was like I'm not like that anymore, but like like it was just.
But I remember you would teach people lessons.
Yeah, you had to just. It was literally a free for all. It could have been, honestly, it could have been somewhere in the States. Felt like it would have been worse in the States for sure.
Oh, for sure.
But you don't see that much of that up here in Canada.
Even too though, the crazy part. Remember, we were a Catholic school and we were on the borders of like the city. Like we weren't like
in the country.
We're in the country. Imagine we were in like the center, like Beale or like Central or anything like that. We would have been way crazier.
Yeah, facts.
Bro, that just reminded me of a fucking, when you said like Catholic school, it just reminded me of a story. But like
Off the record.
with
Miss I don't know how to say her name.
yeah,
No,
like,
just-
But
in
yeah.
the class.
yeah, the gym teacher in class,
Oh yeah.
bro.
Who's the gym teacher?
She was a health and fitness or
Oh, yours.
yeah.
Oh, I'm okay. Yes, I know
which
exactly
one's
what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't even know if I should say it.
No, don't. This.
It's,
To be honest
yeah,
with
just
you,
say it,
we're
might as
still,
well.
there were too many of us are still connected in networks like that where it's like, oh, it pops up on Facebook. And
I'm gonna fucking
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking say
You gonna
it.
say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
facts.
fucking say it. So anyway, so I remember, bro, I was in class, and I was just cooling there, and like you said, it's a Catholic school, you know, so you would think like, you know, like I don't know. And then fuck no, you're right. This is
So,
bad.
so, no.
Worst case, you can just cut it out.
You can bleep
Yeah,
it. You can bleep
so
it.
so then like basically like I remember I was with you in fitness class. I was right beside you, bro, and I remember this teacher was like, okay, we're talking about a boy and a girl, baby boy and baby girl. And this is when shit started, like the light started going on this stuff, right?
Was this a radical gym teacher? Like the.
I think so. Yeah.
The one, like she was
The
like.
short-haired blonde one.
Yeah, I know who. Yeah, she was like.
I don't want to say the name, but
I
yeah,
know, I know
yeah.
who exactly we're
Yeah.
talking
Well,
about. Yes,
anyways,
yes.
she was like, yeah, you know, like this is a boy and this is a girl. And then she's like, she said something about like the those toys in the picture. There was girl toys and boy toys, and she's like, and she clearly said, oh, like this. What did she say? She said something like these shouldn't. It doesn't matter what toys you play with or whatever because how you're raised doesn't dictate whether or not like you
Yeah.
like change genders or whether or not you become gay. She said you're born that
It's
way.
Oh, I
you
see
know,
what you're
it's like an
saying,
intro
yeah.
to,
Yeah,
fluid, whatever.
Yeah,
and
fluidity.
there's no fact on this. Like no one's
Yeah.
100% right on this. But then I just kindly put up my hand and I was like, sorry, what did you mean by like you were born this way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just
Questioning. You're just
questioning it,
That's
bro. No,
It's
I'm not right.
yeah,
She's not right.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then she was like, "Oh, you're 100% born this way." I'm like, "Sorry, you can't say like 100%." You know what I mean? I'm like, we're in a Catholic school first of all. Like, at least like bring that morality to it, and then
Yeah.
like let's talk about it. She was like, "No, you're being very rude. You're being very disrespectful." And I was like, ma'am, like, how am I being disrespectful? Go to the principal's office, bro. This girl kicked me, like, no, well, she took me to the principal's office because I started, you know me, I started talking to
Yeah,
her, like,
facts.
Yeah.
oh, what about this study and whatever.
Facts.
And then she kicked me out, bro. And yeah, that triggered that story, you know what I mean?
No,
in
it
the
makes
sense
sense,
of, like,
makes
it, like,
sense.
I got kicked out for questioning something in school. I wasn't even being radical. I was just like, sorry, what did you mean by this? Like,
Facts. And I think that, like, from a young age, you can kind of tell, like, it was very geared.
oh, here he goes.
It's very, it's very geared not to think outside the box, that's why I would say earlier when I got back to the way you said earlier, like being an entrepreneur, kind of working for yourself, figuring that out, is because I don't know. I've never been the type. When I do the stuff like go to classes, do that stuff, I was always getting in trouble or stuff like that. So I'm like, why am I really doing what everyone's doing when I'm usually just getting in trouble when I'm doing what everyone else is doing?
Yeah.
Maybe I add my own little voice, add something to it, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I going to do this? There might as well think another way. So that's where my brain kind of shifted to forget about this, like not forget about school completely, but it was more the institution. I already, like, I don't know, I was at a young age, I could already see through that kind of facade of
What they're trying to portray to you, like,
yeah, like the whole school, everyone's sitting in the class getting grades, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, I could tell you this stuff if it was 1-on-1, but I'm not really. It's more comparing in ratio. Like teachers, like it was more of like the game was more social. Even back then, I saw it before I even saw like the school. Like you could be good with a teacher, and she'll make you pass in the good grades.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you even seen in the States too with schools like and stuff like that where those teachers, especially if you play sports or something that adds value to the school or to themselves, they're gonna help you more and make it more easier for yourself. Where here, I found it was very. Let's make an example of this. Like it's almost like, you know what I mean. It was almost like we don't really need, like, focus on the falling in line. Focus on doing what everyone else is doing. There's no need for you to be different. Why do you need to be different?
Don't stand out if you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If the standing out would just be the way you write down on the paper,
Yeah.
the way you say something. But at the end of the day, the answers are all the same. And I was like, okay, this is foolish and to the extreme. Especially what you said with the teacher. They would never give us any like definite answer. So she just gave you two variables, like the girl, boy, plus it's up in the air. Both things are up in the air. If she said yes, you're 100% boy and a boy. Okay, so let's talk about the other side of it then. But no, they're saying that's up in the air. You could be born this and that. And then also let's talk about the toys too. So I'm like, what the heck? We're just here having a conversation with no right answers, yet we're getting marked correct or wrong. Doesn't make sense to me. At least in my head, I'm like, what am I doing here? What's going on? Maybe just think a little differently in the sense of like that institutional structure. But yeah, I would say it's good and bad for sure. You know the ups and downs of that kind of stuff too. You too. You're like, especially now, the business side of it, it's helped, but it's also like, I don't know if it's just my luck or what's going on, but like there's always been that kind of kickback from people in authority positions over me. And the thing is, like, especially with those people, I'm never one to belittle them, but I feel like sometimes when I talk to them one-on-one, they, especially with like coaches and stuff like that, teachers, they kind of felt like I was, same with you, the second they feel questioned,
challenged.
Yeah, like my biggest thing was like, because I got in trouble a lot in school for disrespecting authority, but looking back now, like with what I know now, I feel like it was more of they didn't feel like they had power, because they had authority. I'm in the class, you're the teacher, you're the adult. What authority else do you need? Like, no kid's gonna make me feel like I'm fucking powerless, like I'm a kid. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel it was more of like that. They felt powerless in the situation because like they don't even have the answers. You know what I mean? Which is crazy to know now. Like, I'm thinking about it. Like, it was always that kind of kickback, but learn to deal with people in the sense of like, I don't know. You know, like I'm always kind of quiet, like especially around like authority people. I'm not really trying to push the boundaries. I try to step back. Could be detrimental in some cases, but I don't know. You have anything more to say, Adio?
It's funny that you say that, right? Because like that's not the D'Sean that I remember, you know, right?
Yeah.
And like that's also a pivoting point from when like our relationship started to kind of grow apart, or friendship, right?
Yeah.
You moved away to college, and then things kind of fell off from there. But when the young D'Sean that I grew up with, you know, you weren't a quiet, you know, laid back type of guy. You're always pushing those boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And even when you guys talk about like the radicalism of fucking, I usually don't swear when I come in, damn. But yeah, like of that situation, like I remember like it going around the school and like hearing about it and that kind of stuff, right? And
Wait, the radicalness of what situation?
of like the teacher.
You heard about
bro,
that?
I remember hearing about
Saying that shit was going around like that.
bro.
Yeah.
Saying how,
Yeah, man. And so it's just like this conversation, and like this is why I wanted to just hop in for a minute. Cokes will get his seat back, but it was like it's been very eye opening of like seeing the person you become, because like there were some things like I just, you know, that whole like people grow and like a person's gonna have a perception of you, of the old you who they knew at that past, right? And so like to me it was like, yo, this is still like goofy D'Sean, but like sitting here listening to you today and like how you've grown, man, it's like,
no, I appreciate it.
It's inspiring, man. Like about like listening to all that, and like like you don't realize the hardships of like injuries, right? Like some people that aren't into sports, they're going to be like, oh, boo-hoo, right? But like that's your life, right? And you've had some huge life altering events and like overcome them in big ways, man.
Thank you.
It's,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I love listening to this today, man.
No, I appreciate it for
amazing.
sure.
yeah, and even I could vouch for that. Like I've known D'Sean for a minute. You obviously know this too, David. And like and yeah, yo, you've changed so much in like positive in the last like especially in the last few years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the fact that you're seeing that too, like it's just it's crazy.
Yeah, man. I've known this guy since 6 years old, bro.
Yeah, look,
literally.
First day of kindergarten, bro. Like way back, St. Anthony's, back in the day. It was crazy.
We even did the what is it? We did the guillotine project.
Yeah, I did a history project with this guy.
About capital punishment. We built like a guillotine.
weird.
At the what is the place called?
Wait, didn't you guys go to the Pioneer?
Yeah,
Yo,
Pioneer.
Yeah, we had to build a whole little diorama.
You guys went to the next level though of that shit, didn't you?
Like the second tier, yeah.
The second tier, we had to do the short clip.
The video clip.
The video clip.
And then after that, it was like to go to Ottawa or something.
Ottawa,
Didn't like Fernando go? Or
Fernando and Jordan.
Yeah, Fernando and Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yo, my clip didn't even make the first round, fam.
Facts.
That's jokes.
Yeah, man. We're an hour in roughly, but I'll
right.
let Cokes hop back on and
Yeah.
you guys are killing it.
Coca.
Oh.
Another bathroom break, buddy.
Yeah,
I think out of 41 episodes, how many? Like probably
Honestly,
36.
No, definitely not that high, but we definitely could do a stat on that. It'd be pretty funny. No, honestly, it was kind of. I should. Honestly, it'd be funny. I'll take that. I'll take that. But either way, you know what's funny? I just seen Killy. He just posted. He's like, I'm trying to do some podcasts during this next month. So I'm like, while I was sitting in the background. I literally went on the page and messaged him.
Okay, so
Okay.
you were
So,
doing work when
Might
you
as well.
Yep.
Like, why not? If this guy wants to go on a podcast, come on ours, right?
I love
Facts.
that about you. I love
But
that
yeah,
about you.
what made you say yes to the podcast?
One, to support. I love the podcast. I haven't been able to watch every episode. I'm gonna be honest on here.
Like,
I will catch up.
so like,
Appreciate
I'm
it.
good. I'm starting to get back into things. I took I'd say recently, life hit me in other ways, but like with Kodak, personal stuff. But I've kind of been distant, I would say. But I think I'm just fine. I was just finding myself again, kind of figuring out where to pivot. But definitely wanted to get on here, just talk, get back with the guys, see what's up, and at least share my story, get it out there.
yeah.
Because I do need to get more, like I said, get more back into the social aspect of things. Kind of been working on that personal side, spiritual side, all that kind of stuff, and I need to build my social character score up to 10 now too.
Yo,
Attributes,
go ahead.
my sliders.
No, I was gonna say one thing is like you've become super self-aware, at least over the last couple of years. Like, like just
Yeah.
personally, but even like I guess like, because like even too before you can say you didn't really give a fuck what anybody said or care. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you were in your own bubble, but I feel like now it's like you still are. You're just more willing to kind of take in like I guess other forces that are coming at you. It's like
Yeah.
I don't have to be so like I guess anti or like I don't need to push all these things away. I'm willing to take it in. Yeah, maybe I'm not gonna listen to it all, but
Yeah.
something at least permeates through you.
That's
You
what I was
know?
gonna
Yeah.
say. Like, it's crazy you say that, bro. Because I was about to ask him about like your spiritual side.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that probably like ties to how you're coping so well.
Yeah.
Like, because I remember you were always like spiritual or religious. You always have been. Like
Yeah,
as a little kid,
yeah.
it was always in the back of your mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it has been, but it seems like that mustard seed actually grew, and
Yeah.
it's growing. Like
Yeah.
explains kind of what's.
Similar story with you. Like I remember as a kid, the only problems I had with it was the vagaries and unanswered questions, and I don't think it was the religion's fault. I feel like it was that it's not even that person's fault, but it was like they were giving me the extent of what they could.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I remember I got kicked out of the church the one day when the guy was singing or laughing and fell or whatever. But like as a kid, I'm like, why am I getting kicked out of church? Who's getting kicked out of church?
Mhm.
It must be that bad. I'm getting kicked out of church. And I'm like, no. Like realistically, it's like they didn't know how to deal with the situation. Like like I said, I had no filter, and because I had no filter, like I said whatever, did whatever, not thinking about the consequences. I would say, like not really consequences, but the effect it would have.
And it wasn't really your fault. We were young. We were very young. There's a church. There was a priest who was singing. You know what I mean? And the voice was like super cracky, like super crackety. Like he was not hitting the high notes, right? so like we started naturally giggling as kids.
Yeah.
And then I remember like the teacher came up to him, and because D'Sean's laugh is very different than anyone else's laugh, especially at that time. The whole shaking the head. You know what I mean? And yeah, exactly. so he was doing that in church, and then I remember the teacher comes up to him and was like, get out of here. And like we find out later that the priest was like dead, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like half death. But like still, who the hell, as a little kid, who
You don't know
supposed to
that,
know?
no.
Bro,
My
come
biggest
on,
thing was
bro.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
like,
How you
did no
supposed
one
to
else
know?
see that?
Yeah.
Why is everyone still going on like nothing just happened? Like he could have just said it like in a high like a high talking fast pitch like rhythmed. I remember the point, in him, through him, with him, the unity of the Holy Spirit forever and ding ding
Oh,
ding
yeah,
ding
wait,
ding.
yeah.
Yes, they
Yes,
could have
yes,
just said
yes,
it like
yes,
that, but he tried to do the whole like high tone like
Beyonce
singing
concert.
Oh, yeah.
and it just sounded like and I'm just laughing like, oh my gosh, did no one see this?
But see, like, even too, though, you can't get mad at, especially if you're a little kid. We all know little kids are the most truthful, right?
Yeah.
They don't like, even to the whole idea of lying, they don't know what that is. So they're
Yeah.
just going to tell you what's up.
Yeah,
you know
so
what
I
mean?
guess like okay, so that whole bad experience young in
Yeah.
religion, obviously I could understand how that's kind of like like why am I getting kicked
Yeah.
out? So like how, like explain your relationship now with religion or spirituality, whatever.
Honestly, I'd say it's both. Like spiritual wise too is just trial. I hate to say this, trial and error. Like even with like telling the truth. Like there's times I've told the truth, and there's times I've lied, and I found I know this is crazy. Most of the times the outcome's still the same. Not in a good like for a positive way for me at least, because like at that point I know I'm on a proper path kind of thing. Really, I gotta like forget the correction. Where was the mistake made? I kind of learn back from that, and it's most time just taking it in, know who I'm around, what I'm saying, and how it might affect them. Because at that time too, I didn't care what anyone said to me. my feelings were never really hurt. Like I got cheese, but it was more like I'm more hard on myself. If anything, like there's times where I'll be more mad at myself, and it wasn't until like I got injured. Cause when I got injured, because I always used to make jokes with the people who were injured. Cause there's some guys on the team that are just always injured. I make jokes, like literally just joking, not really serious. But now that I was injured, I'm like, damn, like maybe that was their life too. Maybe like, I was just thinking of like shit. Like this time, that was the first like time I was like something really important.
Yeah.
Shattered. So I'm like, damn, maybe these people are dealing with that stuff just earlier on. Maybe I don't know what was going on at home, but like I was just insensitive to the fact that people could be dealing with stuff and letting it affect them. It wasn't until that was the first time it actually affected me work, because before I was still playing so much sports. I had my whole family was around. I had all these friends around. It was hard to kind of get down, especially mentally. I was never really in a hole where I was like, shit, like you said earlier, I don't really care. Like, what actions I'm taking, I don't really mind. Like, I think it was you actually who said this. Like, you understand why people commit suicide. I went through those times when all the injury stuff happened, but it was more of like, I know what I'm doing. I know that those are options, but it's like I don't even care. Like, I'm just kind of just gonna live day to day. And it wasn't until then where I'm like, okay, shit, like, you never know who I'm talking to, what they're going through, what's going on, like in that aspect, and like just inspirational wise too, and like spiritualized too, and religion wise. That's when I found, because I would say until the second time I broke my collarbone, I've always dealt with stuff myself. I never talked to like any problems I had, never talked to no one, never really prayed, never really went looking for something inside. Everything was out external gratification, and I kind of could get whatever I want, especially university athlete kind of stuff. Everything was, what do I want, and I can make it happen. Like what I said earlier, kind of just figure it out. So I've been doing that the whole time, but I was never really doing that for myself or whatever. My spirit person, I always say that too. Like, as if body's one thing, my spirit person is another. And especially when I look back on the injuries when I was at that lowest, I also saw other aspects that were kind of like leaks in the boat, per se. So like that money side, the relationship side, my attitude side, all that stuff, my relationship like with coaches, authority, all that stuff. And it made me think, because I'm like, you know what? A lot of this stuff is kind of inevitable, because like there's times where same with the trial and error. There's times I went in there with the same attitude when I was in high school. Like when I first got to Carleton, I was laughing all the time, very upbeat. I got in trouble all the time, disrespecting authority, kicking me out of stuff. I'm like, okay, what the frig? Like, why does it keep happening? So when I went back, I'm like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I didn't say nothing. I still got in trouble. I was still getting kicked out. So I'm like, okay, shit. So clearly, it's not what I say, or it's. Because I found even in those times, there's still people who look up to me, and I'm still have to be a leader regardless. So it's the influence. Maybe that's just what I'm gifted with. Sometimes I have influence, and it's whether I use that influence for good or bad. Even not using it at all is still negatively. You know what I mean? Because like there's a lot of people who say, "Oh shit, look at him. What is he doing? How do I do what he's doing, or how can I mimic something that he's doing?" Maybe because they see that there's success in that lane.
So when you look back, like now that it's been a while, do you think like that was like not a good thing that happened to you, but like something that was needed maybe? Because I feel I feel like if you may have been kept on running with that lifestyle, who knows where that would have taken you. But now it's like you're talking about like emotions, you're talking about like other people's feelings, where like 3 years ago I would not have ever heard this from you.
Yeah, definitely right. It's needed. And more importantly, yeah, just because like I never, even in those times of hardships, like especially the guys around me, like I was always like, at least I felt like, okay, I'm being good. Like I would do anything for the guys around me. Like even if I got like food out, everyone's always eating. It's not like one man starving. We'll take care of it. But then this made me think of like, maybe the way my actions are perceived by others, it could just almost domino effect to other people in their lives too. Like I've seen the compound effect, just being nice to one person, helping them out, they can go help someone else. They can help two people out, just for good. Just stop. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop putting negative energy out. And I wouldn't say it was negative, because on my part, I'm gonna be honest, I was still like almost like childlike, where I'm like, okay, I'm just happy. I'm just gonna say what I say. But if what I say can make someone else negative, then I don't want to be the start of then any negative energy coming out in the universe. And I can say I was like big on the spirituality. I read the Bible. That was honestly, that was something, because like that was those are things are so definitive, and that helps me kind of navigate life more, because especially there's so much questions I have in my life, everything that's gone on. When there's something that's definitive and for sure, I don't have to really question it. So it's there, that it gave me almost like, you go bowling and there's freaking bumpers.
Yeah.
For a lot of those little social interactions, it gave me bumpers to just kind of, I can throw the ball down. I know that it's okay, those will recorrect, and I can, if it does go off left, I know, okay, down, that's, let me readjust my words, what I'm doing, my actions, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How has that mindset like transformed like your relationships, personal ones?
Truthfully, I'm not. I think they've been better, but I'm still in the early stages of that, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what did come of that is my relationship with myself. Like, I've been in Ottawa for like a while now. You guys know that, especially the last couple months, 4 or 5 months. Like, recently broke up with my girlfriend, but I was by myself. Like, I didn't talk to nobody. Like, only in, like, when I'm working, I'm talking. But you know how work conversation is. It's late. But I was just surprised that I kind of felt like at peace. But it's just this scary, because at the same time, come someone do something like this, even with you guys, like I know my whole life, I got like nervous. You know what I mean? Because I'm not used to talking to people, not used to doing all that. In a good way, though. You know what I mean? Like, in a good way.
It was uncomfortable, but it was a good uncomfortable.
Yeah, like, it was the uncomfortable I needed. Like, I would always kind of search out stuff that kind of made me uncomfortable. Just because, like, what the heck, why not? Like, I'm not trying to be the same thing. And that's what I think David said, it, pushing the boundaries. The boundaries were only to kind of find the uncomfortable space. A lot of times it was talking to authority, and like I said, those kind of pushed the boundaries where that authority line was broken, and they kind of put them into, because like I get it now, I get it. Like, they don't want to be on defense, especially with kids and whatever. But I was always trying to find that uncomfortable space, but I was leaning towards like the wrong ones,
Mm-hmm.
Where now I'm kind of leaning toward the right ones, and it's slowly starting to open up. I think it's just taking a little longer, but overall, it's helped me, because this is the first time I really slowed down, worked on myself, feel good with being by myself. I was always with someone before. Like, my house was always full. Like, there's always people over. I had friends. Like, you know how it was when we were kids too. Like, I live across from Thana, so we're always just in and out, walking around the streets, like, having a good time.
Bro, there was times where us three especially, and Sergio, we would see each other for almost like half a year, almost a year, every single day.
I literally wake up to you guys knocking. I'd be sleeping from because I was working night shifts at that time. All I hear is doof, 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 doof. Coca, wake up, bro. We got shawarma for you. All right, it'd be like 9 o'clock. I have to be out by 10:30. So we'd kick it for that hour and a half that I'm up. We'd all be hanging out and like
exactly, yeah. So exactly that. So like, always with someone, and it's not a bad thing, but at that same time, I was never really alone, which it was eye opening. But like I said, kind of helped that spiritual side of things, because like, when you are by yourself, you kind of, I can see how people can go crazy from that, and I can see how it could drive people to kind of get into slumps and not going to the gym, just doing yourself, go to work, this and that.
Well, yeah, we're meant to be social beings at the end of the day. Like, we're meant to, and the thing is, like if you're in a relationship, whether that be a friendship, like your siblings, your parents, or even like a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, like that takes work. All of those relationships, right? Like, that takes effort. Like, you can't just have them because because this person's my mom, she's gonna love me forever. It's like, good luck, buddy. Wait till 20 years. Like, have you been watering that?
Even dude, it's like that's a good thing that you say mom, but like it's like there's been situations where people's moms leave them and like don't, right? So it's like you can't really like just count on like that situation, right? It's like I think it's like going back to like you almost have to nurture that if you want it to grow, right?
Yeah. And the more you can nurture, like, and not be fake, but like have genuine relationships, the better you'll do, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a correlation. It's fucked. But it's weird how that works, huh?
And even too, it's like going back to what he said. It's like when you like you do things that you love, or in like you're pure and like that, you attract that same type of energy in.
Yeah.
Where it's like
that
same pure energy you put out is also being received in a way.
But yo, I was gonna say to you, like, you're moving different now. You know what I mean? He's really moving different in the sense of like. His eyes are more focused, bro. Like, there's no distraction, Like, you went out recently with him, and he was zoned in on just no fugazi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, no stupidness.
Yeah, well, honestly, it was like, it's weird.
But my point is like, okay, what's weird? Say.
No, I'm just saying it's weird going out now. Like, it ain't the same.
Oh, I was telling him the exact same thing. Like,
You just posted there now. It's
and
not
especially like before Manson went, we didn't have money, so we're like, okay, if we have money and we go out, it's gonna be different.
now we have money.
Yeah, now I have, like you saw, like Mans had the, like we had the money there, but it was more for just for the, like I was just there for the man. I'm having a good time, chilling, talking, like vibing. But like you could be like, it could be like right us right here in this lounge, and we could create the same vibes.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is put that like a few years ago, and mans are going with a whole different attitude downtown.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like what are the next like few years like for you? You know what I mean? 'Cause I feel like your direction now is very like.
Yeah, for me, definitely, I need to, like I said, build that social aspect. Like I kind of been it feels like I've been in a cave for a bit, almost by myself, just kind of working, building like the foundation of like, at least myself, spiritually, mentally, physically. Now I just kind of have to progress on that and grow from like in the areas, like I said, my character skills all around. I'm not really focused on the money per se, because I know that is a byproduct of the actions or steps taken. Like I think I was telling you, like this is the first year I really kind of worked full time too. It's different because I'm used to like working like, but on like athletic wise, working is different, you know. And being able to help people too is kind of cool. Like I liked like being able to have that aspect of my life, kind of be able to finally give back to my family, my friends, like people like I've been kind of, they've been supporting me along the whole way, and now I'm able to kind of give it back, which is nice. You know what I mean? And
That's true, boy. He has become a big giver, fam.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
He
the
has
bands.
now.
Yeah,
yo.
no,
He
it's
has
never-
big
yo,
bands
it
now,
sounds
yo.
like, yo, I got that. I'm like,
Yeah, I
whoa,
hear
big
no
baller.
complaints.
I'm
yo.
like, big baller, relax, yo.
yeah, because like it's just like, and it's weird because especially like sometimes I'm here and like, I'm hear people saying, oh, like this is so expensive, this and that.
You're just like Fugazi.
It's not, it's only fugazi in relativity, because like in the sense of like, if I had a regular job that like, not to say my job's no crazy job, but it affords me to be able to say like, okay, like wow, if I really wanted to, I could just go out for 12 hours. Some days you can make 300 plus, some days you can make 600 plus. But if it made me think like, what is $100 when I can go tomorrow and make 6x on the damn just 12 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perspective, I guess. at this
Yeah,
point
and
for
that's
you,
the thing, is
right?
to shift my perspective, and like now I feel uncomfortable when I don't have money in the account a little bit. Not in
Yeah.
the sense of like, I don't want to be taking, like I'm trying to be like giving, dishing
Yeah.
out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just that energy of just taking, like, oh, I need to.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
that it's not a bad thing, 'cause I know people are so willing to, but at the same time, if everyone else is like building up, everyone needs to eat, and I don't want to be taking off someone else's plate just to, you know, do that stuff. So I'm trying to get to that point where I'm financially good enough to facilitate people, as well as build myself up enough to, who knows, maybe you see a man like me settle down eventually.
Yeah.
You never know, like
you never know,
settle down, like, you know. But
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Saying that's
100%.
been crossing your mind lately, D.
With all these marriages, like, come on, and all these weddings, how can it not? Like, I'm not even saying for you. I'm just saying
oh yeah,
from
like what you
personal.
say,
It's like
it's love
there's
is
just too
contagious.
much love in the air, and it's like,
Oh,
how
he-
can you not feel it?
This guy loves though.
He loves to
he
love.
loves to
He
love.
No, I
loves
know
to love.
how to love.
No,
No.
There's a difference. There's a
No.
difference. You love to love, and it's
Okay.
not a bad thing.
No,
You know a couple
I'm
people
not.
like
I'm
that.
not.
I
I'm
know a
not.
couple people like
I'm not
that.
saying it is. I'm just saying I know how to love. It's not I love to love. I know how to love.
Because I think that
Maybe
brings
I enjoy
Maybe
it.
both.
it brings
maybe
you
both.
back to your childhood.
Two-
childhood
yo,
Maybe
state.
both.
Two things can be correct, right? Like
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it's both, but yeah. You love to love. You're
Yeah.
you're Romeo, which is great.
middle name's Ricardo, not Romeo.
Oh yeah.
Same thing.
So yeah,
we'll probably wrap it
Yeah.
up. Now, before we wrap it up, let's try and get this in. So you said you want to settle down. You know what I mean?
I said it's possible. Yeah,
It's possible. Like, what does that mean in the sense of like what your mindset just wants to kind of chill now, or?
Not chill. I just haven't put, like, I've realized the amount of energy. Like back then, like I was on go all the time. Like there's things that get sacrificed to be out all the time with bare people. Like not bare people, but like, you know what I mean. Like even like you said, one person is a sacrifice, but it's more so like the companionship, being able to build something, and have that growth at all aspects of my time. You know what I mean? And that's.
So you're willing to put your energy now to actually building something like that. or
Yeah,
focusing on
exactly.
that.
And because like I realized too, like especially with myself, there's certain things that girls can do that like I don't think men's are supposed to be doing it, or not. Like maybe men's are just not good at it. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's just some stuff that like a woman's touch does help out a bit. I am getting a little bit too rough on the like I'll go for days no haircut, working, struggling. The house is a little dirty, but I don't care. Like I'm still eating.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like it's like almost like you know the bachelor pads, how they are sometimes.
Yeah.
And like even like all that little stuff that will push me out of my comfort zone. I feel like I need to get out of my comfort zone again some more. That's why right now I'm single right now, but I'm just kind of, for the first time, I haven't really I haven't been dating no one, which is the first time in like a while, and I feel like that's helped the spiritual side of things.
Yeah.
Not to say I'm ready right now, but I'm open to the fact.
You're open to the fact of like taking something super serious. And
Yeah.
understanding that it does take a lot of effort on your side to maintain and build something.
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah,
with
no, that's dope.
my friends going through that, like you said, it's almost like, you know, in the games when you send the scouts out and they're scouting it and it's safe. Like, hey, I get it. Like before I wasn't a worry, but I was not trying to deal with no extra headaches because I'm already here worrying about the basic necessities of figuring out life, a job, food.
But it's so true. He says like a woman kind of has to be present. Like it's actually so true. Lads, if they were just left to be lads,
Savages.
Because
Yeah.
bro, like I won't even be ashamed to admit this, but like Claudia's the one who like taught me how to wash your face properly, put the cleanser. Bro, who the fuck knows about that before like
Yeah.
knowing a girl? You know what I mean? Like I mean maybe some men, you know,
Yeah.
good on them. You
Not
know,
me.
work for
Yeah.
Dove or something. But like, you know what I mean?
Neutrogena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Any last things, bro? You want to like get off your chest, I guess, because the cameras unfortunately are
Yeah.
dying.
Well,
We got 2%.
main
Fuck,
thing
we
would
gotta
be
deal with that. We gotta
would be
fix that.
thank you guys for having me on. You guys are doing great.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate that.
I'm very thankful that you guys had me on and being able to speak and let my story out.
And yo, this won't be the last time we have you on, eh? Like,
Oh, I hope
you
not.
know, I'm sure people will watch you grow, bro. Because like you've honestly changed in such a positive way, bro. Like I being your brother, like you're
Appreciate
fucking someone I look up to, bro. So it's
Appreciate
like I appreciate you taking the time and even sitting down with us. I know you're a little nervous, but
yeah,
it wasn't that bad.
No,
Huh?
it wasn't bad at
Even
all.
too, like, if you really want to see the change, go back. There's an episode with you on it from way earlier at the barbershop. It's
yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I think it's
Facts.
like, it's in the first 5 episodes.
Yeah.
If you really want to see a change, go watch that episode, then watch this one. You can see the way he articulates himself, the way he talks. It's like, it's a lot different. So, you know, that's what we bring. We bring value and we bring change. That's it. At the
Oh,
end of the day.
this is a great platform. Great back crew. You guys know they may not be on camera, but like they're great. You know, they're
Yeah,
good.
bro.
Everything is well produced. everything's
David,
great.
Brendan, Tyler,
The Warriors in the back.
the Warriors in the back. Okay,
Kurt-
all right, yo, we'll wrap it up here, yo. Thanks for everyone for watching, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and follow D'Sean on. We'll put all his stuff there.
Hey, and
Appreciate
also,
it.
don't forget
Appreciate
to
it.
watch last week's episode.
Peace.
Peace.